What is up, YouTube? This is episode number 2 of the Super Bokeh Bros. We're happy to be back. This is Dylan. I'm Eli. We got Hascall and Matt in the house tonight. So we're ready to give your photos a critique. If you missed episode number 1, click up here in the corner. Make sure you check it out. Catch yourself up to what we're going to be doing tonight. So we have asked our individual Instagram communities, our followers, our fans, to submit their photos to be critiqued in this format. So that's what we're going to do. We've each picked 2 photos that were submitted. So 8 photos in total we're going to be critiquing in this episode. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I'm going to start right off with Dylan's 2 picks.
Alright, so my first picture is from Laser Lou Dude. I've known Lou for a little bit now, and his stuff never fails to blow me away.
Yeah, so pretty much, guys, how this is going to work, we're going to count down, and then we're going to rate the image on a scale of 1 to 5, and then we're each going to kind of briefly go over what we think is done well in the image and what we think could use work. So, boys, if you're ready to give it a rating, I am as well. Ready, set, go. Before we start, Dylan, what you got on this?
Alright, so I give it a 4-star because this is not something that I have any experience with whatsoever, and Louis' work never fails to blow me away. I love the colors in this. I love what's going on. I love all of the action. Literally, the only critique is I don't know how to critique this because I don't have any experience with it.
Yeah, same for me. I give it a 4. I love the colors in this. Symmetry is absolutely spot on. And from what I've heard, he doesn't use any Photoshop. Is that right? Yeah. This is absolutely insanity.
On a phone. On a phone, no DSLR.
Absolute insanity.
All cell phone, I give it a 5. It's super impressive. I voted a 4, but I'm giving it a 5. I didn't know any history behind it, but yeah, mimic it, what everyone else said. I love the symmetry. It's just a super gnarly shot.
This hits close to home because I love cyberpunk stuff. I give it a 4.5 because I'm like no 5s, but everything about this, blues, the reds, the pinks are amazing. Everything about it is an amazing composition. Plus, like they said, it's shot on a phone from what I understand and no Photoshop. And that's probably the only place I would critique it if you can take that as critique and you're gonna ever like do anything different with it. But if you don't like want that and that's part of your style, then I'm gonna have a hard time critiquing it as well, because the only thing is gear and more foo-foo tricks like is only gonna make it like better. It's the only that might even make it worse. Like the purity and the simplicity of this is what is beautiful.
Dylan, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this is a submission from Photo Nexa. I love this shot because I can never get it correct out of a lens ball. So I envy you for this.
Ready, set, go. 3.5 for me.
I got 3.
I'll jump in. I love the contrasting kind of gradient from orange to blue in the sky and then kind of flipped upside down in the lens ball itself. Love the silhouetted hand. The only thing bothering me a little bit, it looks like the horizon in the lens ball is a little bit off. I'm nitpicking and I've never really worked with a lens ball. I'm sure it's tricky to get it exactly right in camera, but the colors are stunning.
I agree. I really like, this is also kind of my color palette, blues, oranges, anything that plays with blue well, nice. I agree with the horizon. Maybe it's like not done in camera, but I mean, we have tons of stuff in post. I mean, but if you're going for a tilted look, I think it's not like horribly off. It's just I think it would look maybe slightly a little bit better if it was centered or like flat.
I give it a 3. I love the tones, the colors. I mimic the crop or tilt of the horizon a little bit. All in all, I'm not a huge fan of lens balls, but to each their own. I don't know, I've seen a lot of other people flip the image so that it's properly inverted.
Yeah, so I give it a 3. I love the colors in this, and I love what's going on. But I feel like the foreground in the lens ball is a little uninteresting to me. So in terms of what I would like to see from it, maybe a more dynamic foreground. So I thought that was a lightning bolt. Not going to say you should Photoshop one in, but be an interesting little aspect to it.
This first one is from Rob. He's based in the Indy area, but he travels all over taking photos. So let's go ahead and give this one a rating, boys. Sure. Ready, set, go. What you got now?
Yeah, so I gave it a 3.5. Rob, I love this shot. It's very, very crisp. The only thing that I would like to see is if there was some other opening of trees so we can see what seems to be the mountain in the back. I feel like the trees up in the top of the frame are kind of taken away from the dynamic scene. but I love the lifestyle approach to this shot. So very, very nice shot. Just wish I could see a little bit more of that mountain.
Yeah, same here. I gave it a 4. I mean, I really like the edit look on this. It's kind of desaturated. It's got those kind of dark desaturated green looks as well. I'm not sure what I'd change. This isn't a style I've done a lot of, but it really just caught my eye, and so that's why I picked it. I think it's well framed, though. The tree does lend itself to drawing your eye into the subject, but you don't see all the mountainous terrain because of that.
I gave it a 4. Definitely digging the tones. The moment I saw it, it reminded me of being in the Rockies in Colorado, for sure. Horseback riding more specifically. I mean, it kind of has a little bit of cowboy vibe going on. I don't know if that's what you're going for, but I love all the dark tones, really good play. Kind of mimic in terms of the background, being able to see the mountains a little more. I personally would have loved to see it, but I mean, having been to places like that, I can imagine it. I think there's a lot that could have been done with it, but overall, it's a pretty solid shot.
I give it a 4.5. I think I'm actually going to go for 4, though. I agree with a lot that's being said. I really love the color palette. It's just flat enough. It has just enough color to pop where it make it interesting. The only thing I would change, and it's nothing that you can control, it's one of those things in terms of the dynamicness of the scene. Like, you can't control the sunset or something like that. I wish there was just a little bit more pop in that sky, so that way, since the tree is kind of obscuring it, it just made that a little bit more interesting. Other than that, I think it's a really, really solid, great, awesome photo.
So my second shot here, this is from Joel. Joel, you have to remind me down in the comment section below where you are from and what city this was taken in. So a little backstory on this. I do remember, I believe, hearing from Joel that this was actually a phone shot. He was able to pull out of his pocket and get it in time.
What?
So
Nice.
keep that in mind while you're giving this a rating.
Okay.
Ready, set, go. Yeah, I'll jump right in with the 4 stars here. Papa Red is there, the train's there, it's just a little bit of motion blur. I mean, if this truly was an iPhone shot, as you said, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, you have like just the right amount of motion.
Mm-hmm.
The subject in the foreground with like a book or something, like even matches with like the red color palette. I love the cool tones. This just has an underground, city vibe. I love it.
I'd definitely give it a 4, given the circumstance of it being a timely shot, whipping out the cell phone, like quick reaction. I think what would have made this a 5 would have been a perfect case scenario, being able to line up on the lines, frame it a little better so you have more leading lines in a specific direction. Probably would have drawn out the contrast a little more. As in the last episode, I dig the deeper tones a little more. But other than that, like, super impressed to just sit there and be like, bam.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off that. I gave it a 3.5, so close to that. The framing like that could be a little bit tighter, the lead lines, but for like a phone, like, oh my goodness, that's so good. I like the leading lines; they could just be better. It's not horrible, and I like the little touch of red. Just maybe like a little bit more of dynamic range, like in the background. Like, it's an interesting subway, but it's not like, I can't tell if the lack of people makes it better or worse. I would almost, like in that scene, you almost like anticipate more people. But I would love to be in a subway where there was that many people, Like, it'd be the perfect thing in the world.
Right.
Or just in a subway.
Yeah, we're kind of jealous. Indy doesn't have a subway, so any subway is better than no subway.
Not yet, one day.
Yeah, so I gave this a 4. I love the colors of this. This is something that I've tried to mimic, but I couldn't even get close to. So the fact that you did this and you did it on an iPhone, that's tremendous. Yes, I owe you a golf clap. But yeah, I love the colors. I love what's going on in the foreground, and kind of on the opposite of Matt, it's like I love the amount of people in it. It's like the farther you look back, the more you kind of see. But yeah, great shot.
All right, Hascall, what we got here?
Harry Burrito, the man with the name that makes everyone smile. I applaud you, sir, on this shot. I've been following you for a while. This kid's really grown a lot in his work. You see him out there trying to do some really more skilled shots right out of the gate on his account. Now he's getting more creative with his tones and whatnot. So, yeah.
Ready, set, and go. What you got, Matt?
I got a 3. I think this is awesome, especially for someone that's starting, like, when I shoot through flares, I like to see a little bit more face detail. I know that's a style. It's a style that detracts from my eye, so that's why I'm maybe a little bit harsher on the scaling. I think the tones, it's soft enough. I think it like really sells the vibe it's doing. It's just, I was someone that shot on something that was so soft for so long, I'm like really focusing on crispiness at the moment. So it just detracts from my eye a little bit, but I love I love how the orange and the green play with this just with a touch of yellow. Like the color palette is.
So I gave this a 3. The only reason I gave this a 3 and not a 4 is because that flare kind of takes away from the subject's face, in my opinion. Other than that, the only thing that I would change is I kind of wish the sky and maybe the shirt was a little bit more teal to play with that orange and teal vibe, but that's just something that I'm a fan of.
Yeah, I gave it a 3. I personally do like the warm flare. I maybe would have gone a little less intense, but I do like it. Agree with Dylan. Maybe you could bring down the maybe luminance of the sky just a little bit to pull a little bit of detail. But I do like the warm hues playing with the cooler ones.
I gave it a 4, just given the framing, rule of thirds, the flare, subtleness, the softness of the tones. Really solid color palette being used here. I'd see maybe a variant of 4 or 5 different colors. Judging by the time of day, pretty difficult to kind of remove that shadow. I think more towards golden hour, you would have eliminated that a little more and got a really solid flare when the sun's starting to hit the horizon a little bit. But given the time of day, keeping that into consideration, I think it's a really solid shot. I like to make clouds pop in my images personally, so I would have liked to have seen that more. But other than that, I think I went a little higher on the perspective, just given I've been following this kid for a little longer and have watched him grow. And then when I saw this, it was just golf clap.
Yes, I'm not sure if I follow him. I'm definitely gonna have to go and follow him more.
Great work, Harry Burrito.
Yes.
All right, Hascall, what is going on with your second image here?
This is Insta Durr, Michael Durr, who is just nuts. He's really gnarly at video, but anytime he snaps a portrait or any sort of photography work, he's just got mad wide range in and out of the studio. So, I mean, obviously we're all drooling over the bokeh that's in this shot right now.
Super Bokeh Bros for a reason. Ready, set, go.
4.5.
All right, so I'm at a 5. So portraits are something that I've just started to loop back into, so I definitely have a soft spot for these right now. But the amount of bokeh going on with the crispiness of the subject, I love everything about the image. The tones go with the skin tone, go with the hair, go with the background. Just very, very nice image. So props to you. Yes.
You know what that was shot on by any chance?
I do not.
Yeah, drop
If
in the
you-
comment
yeah,
section
if you
below.
know, let us know,
Yeah.
please.
I mean, the focus is absolutely tack sharp. It just looks so good. I'm getting into portraiture myself as well, so this is just stunning to my eye. I really like what you've done here.
Yeah, it's an awesome frame. It's it shows off what it needs to. It's tight. The bokeh's creamy. I'm just gonna piggyback off everything. It's an awesome shot.
Amazing work. Everything I ever see
Keep
fall
doing
out of this
you and
account.
stay awesome. That's our criticism.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go into Matt's picks now. So what do we got here?
All right, so this is from Dalton the Black, and this is actually shot on film. So I happen to know that because he happened to be out one night. We bumped into him, and that's how I met him. Was I think on this night, and so he's one of those guys that's bringing film back to the scene. I like to see it because it's so different from me. So it's a completely different mindset. You get everything done in camera. You only have 24 shots, and all the color grading is really in there and how it's developed. So I'm ready to review whenever you guys are.
Ready, set, go. All right, I'll jump in. I give it 4 stars. Looks like you absolutely nailed the focus, which I've never shot film, but I imagine there's some weird metering stuff you have to work with. So really great job there. Generally, I'm not a fan of a ton of headspace in portraits, but here it works. I'm really getting this scale of, somebody interacting with the city and, the warm tones on the left bleeding over to the cooler tones in the windows on the right. This is just stunning, really.
I give it a 4.5. First of all, we need to link up. I just got a film camera not too long ago,
Really?
gifted by my in-laws. So
I think I saw that on your story.
yeah,
I didn't know it got
pretty stoked
gifted to
about
you.
it.
That's awesome.
Yes, 3 lenses. Yeah. Anyways, rabbit trail. As one who's starting to get into film, I'm definitely feeling this. I had seen this before on the account because I follow you, Dalton. But yeah, so 4.5, digging the dark tones, the symmetry. I think it would have been very easy framing the subject to be off of that corner in the building, but he's it's pretty fairly framed on his head. Just little things that I usually see after the fact where I'm like, crap, I should have lined that up a little better. So, good eye.
I gave it a 4. The only thing I would like to see, but it would take away from the process, is more digitalization, whatever the word is.
Digitalization.
Yeah, I would just, but I mean, it's just because I've never shot film. I'm newish to the photography game myself. That's just not a medium I ever played with, but crazy respect for people trying to keep it classic.
Yeah, so I gave it a 3.5 at first, Dalton, I apologize. I'm now giving it a 4 after I looked at it the second time. I love the tones from going from left to right, as Eli said. And at first I was like, I don't know about his outfit, playing with the background, but the more that I look at it, it's a guy in the street, you're taking his portraits, and props to you for shooting this on film. You nailed these.
Yeah.
All right, our final image of the critique. Matt, what we got here?
This is by Sir Edward, 19, and this is a local guy that we actually met at the Create India event. I love culture that I don't get to experience because I'm stuck in Indiana. So I love seeing new spots of the world and stepping into someone else's shoes, seeing it. So I really like this shot.
This is a Canada street shot, right?
From what I understand, they were at a festival. So
Okay.
there's this big festival that goes on in the town.
Ready, set, go.
Something I don't do, I always try to fit, when it comes to portraits, giving enough headspace, fitting the body and stuff, and I wish I would crop in more on details and stuff like this. And the thing that first just draws me is just the detail and the crispiness of the face, the bokeh and stuff, and the stuff's fine in the back, but just the eyes are so beautiful. It's just, no matter where you look, you always get drawn right back to the eyes in this picture, and that's the power in it. And I think it's really, really good.
I rated it a 3.5. Pushing a 4. I'm trying to keep into play the circumstances. I don't want to rate anything based off of solely, what I would do. But I'm going to lead with that. How I would have post-processed this, I probably would have ran it in a black and white image, just to draw out some more detail, play with the highlights that you see coming off of his skin and even in the background. I piggyback what Matt said with the eyes really being the center focus. I just maybe would have post-processed it in black and white.
I think black and white would be really cool. If you have a black and white of that, please show it to us.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm giving this at least a 4. It's a solid 4, if not a 4.5 to me. I've got a soft spot for candid street shots that are kind of close up. I mean, that's really what drew me in and where I fell in love with photography. So, to me, I enjoy the horizontal. I'm fine with the close up. It gives me almost like a cinema movie scene feel.
Yeah, so I gave this a 4, and it's a very, very strong 4. The only reason I didn't rate it higher is, this is very, very nitpicky, is I wish that the subject would have been looking at the camera. If the subject would have been looking at the camera, this would have been featured in Nat Geo.
I feel like it'd be easy to slap any narrative you want on that.
I agree.
Given the expression on his face,
Yeah.
He's in shock and awe, or he's I don't know,
super
something's happening in
focused,
the
Yeah, he's-
distance. Yeah.
Razor focused, yeah.
Yeah.
That's an awesome shot. A great way to finish up the critique. So guys, let us know in the comment section below which photo did you like best from the critique personally, and make sure you follow us over on Instagram so you can submit next time we do our critique. It'll be episode number 3 next time. So our Instagrams are linked below in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the Super Bokeh Bros signing off.